Sometimes, all it takes is to look someone in the eyes to sense there's an entire universe hidden behind them. In the case of Demet Özdemir, that's exactly what happens. In the case of Demet Özdemir, that's exactly what happens. Behind her radiant smile and confident presence lies a deep, sensitive inner world, often misunderstood. Demet is not just a successful actress or a beautiful woman. She is someone who has learned to walk in silence, facing inner contradictions, past wounds, and a society that often doesn't know how to handle women like her. She doesn't act, she lives each character. In every glance, in every silence she conveys on screen, there's a part of her truth. The emotions you see in her scenes aren't fake, they are real, coming from her soul. Because Demet doesn't hide what she feels, even if she doesn't show it to everyone. She has managed to unite depth and simplicity like very few. In a world full of shallow relationships and empty appearances, she holds on to her inner voice. In an interview, she once said, "I must show people not only who I am, but also who I am not," a phrase that sums up her entire life. She refused to be just a pretty image. She chose to be strong, authentic, and to build her own path, even if that came with loneliness and criticism. Many keep talking about her relationships, her posts, her event appearances, but very few try to understand who she truly is. And doing that isn't easy. It takes patience, sensitivity, and soul. Demet has faced attacks simply for being a woman, for being beautiful, for succeeding. But those who tried to put her in a box couldn't grasp her complexity. They tried to reduce her, but she stood firm. Because being a woman in her country is already hard, being a deep one even harder. From her first steps as a dancer to her rise as an actress, Demet never did what others expected. She followed her intuition, her instinct. Sometimes that brought her isolation, other times awards. But she never gave up. Because her strength isn't in technique, it's in sensitivity. She studies scripts, yes, but she also studies the soul of her characters. If her scenes move you, it's because every tear carries a story. She doesn't calculate every gesture, she feels them, and you can tell. That's why her performances are unique. Few people understand that deep down she's a reserved woman. She loves being alone, not as an escape, but as a way to recharge. That's where her creativity flows. That's why each time she returns, she's stronger, more grounded. Her acts of kindness are discreet. She helps those in need. A fellow actor, a child on the street, a stray animal. She doesn't do it for the cameras, but because she feels it. It's real love, not for show. Demet could have become a broken woman, but she didn't let her fragility become weakness. She turned it into art. Like kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing cracks with gold, each scar made her more beautiful, more profound. Behind her success are tears no one saw, rejections that hurt, nights of solitude, and yet she always got back up. In silence, with dignity, because she doesn't seek attention, she seeks meaning. Today she's still searching, still evolving. She never says, "I'm done," because she knows growth has no finish line. She never says, "I'm done," because she knows growth has no finish line, and every new role she plays adds another layer of depth. She doesn't act, she's soul on screen. Demet Özdemir is not just a symbol of hope, she's a guide. A living proof that it's possible to stay true to oneself in a world that constantly pushes you to be someone else. And in these times, that matters more than ever. Even if some still try to reduce her to a rom-com character or the ex-girlfriend of a popular heartthrob, to me, Demet Özdemir means much more. She is the portrait of a woman who survived the noise, the easy judgments, and the relentless media pressure. Not everyone is ready to witness an artist's evolution, especially when that growth requires breaking expectations. And that is exactly what Demet has done. From her earliest screen appearances, people labeled her as the cute girl, the dancer turned actress, Can Yaman's partner. But over time, she made it clear that she doesn't need a man beside her or a repeated success formula to shine. She took risks, shifted genres, embraced deeper dramatic roles, and proved that her talent isn't measured in likes or love rumors, but in dedication, consistency, and passion. What's most unfair, and I say this sincerely, is that some still judge her for having been with Can Yaman. What's most unfair, and I say this sincerely, is that some still judge her for having been with Can Yaman, as if that defines her. As if every decision, every silence, every word of hers is under the shadow of a story that for many should already be over. But Demet has handled that with admirable class. She never denied the past, but she never clung to it either. She moved forward, building her identity beyond the relationship so many still romanticize. One of the things I admire most about her is her resistance to easy judgment. When someone in the comments says it's too much to keep bringing up the same topics, I completely agree. Why do we keep seeking romance where there's independence? Why is it so hard to accept that a woman can redefine herself without explanation? Why is it so hard to accept that a woman can redefine herself without explanation? While some are still stuck in the nostalgia of Erkenci Kush, she has crossed boundaries, both physical and emotional. She's worked with demanding directors, faced major professional challenges, and most importantly, kept her feet on the ground. She's worked with demanding directors, faced major professional challenges, and most importantly, kept her feet on the ground. In an industry that constantly demands you to please, Demet has chosen to respect herself. One important detail: not everyone survives love under the spotlight. Her relationship with Ken was intense, media-driven, followed by millions. But Demet's true merit was not being with him. It was how she rose afterward without exploiting the drama or turning her story into a spectacle. That takes strength. That takes dignity. Some people don't understand what the word privacy means, as one commenter rightly pointed out. Demet does. That's why she's learned to set boundaries. And that, for a public woman, is an act of courage. Because when you don't explain everything, people invent guilt. But she chose mature silence over cheap scandal. Today, when I see Demet in interviews or new projects, I don't see someone's ex. I see a complete artist, a woman with her own voice, someone who's made brave choices in a world that demands you be agreeable. And I think that's one of her greatest victories. She doesn't need to justify every step. She's already spoken through her actions. In short, while some still wait for a confession, a reunion, or a controversy, I prefer to look where the real story lies. In the personal growth of a woman unafraid to walk alone, who doesn't live in the past, and who understands that true success isn't pleasing everyone, it's staying true to yourself. And that today is almost revolutionary. Another thing I love about her is her bond with people. That warmth in how she responds to her fans' love, the gratitude she expresses, the simple but heartfelt gestures, the flood of messages, blessings, and good wishes she receives isn't random. It's the natural response to what she gives: trust, empathy, and truth. If I had to imagine her future, the only thing I'd wish is that she keeps going this same way, staying true to herself, choosing from the soul, and not letting external pressure drag her down. Because there are many talented actresses, but people like her with that mix of sensitivity, strength, and authenticity are a rare treasure. As one follower quoted Sultana Hurrem, "Loyalty is the most important thing, and I hope he doesn't forget it." But I also hope Demet always remembers it, stays true to her principles, and never allows outside noise to dim her inner light. Demet has already come a long way, but I feel the best is yet to come. She has the maturity, emotional intelligence, and experience to choose wisely. And while we all closely follow every step she takes, her happiness depends solely on the intimate decisions she makes from her heart.